Good day. So last episode we left off, we completed the power station over here, and we now have a total of 72,000 megawatts of power. I did say this area down here is starting to look like a massive city, which is pretty cool, but we don't want to build everything down here. So it's good to know that we've now done everything we can, pretty much, down in this area, and it's not going to get any bigger. There's going to be no more factories down here, pretty much. So what I'm going to go through now is what we've done down here and what our plans are for the rest of the playthrough in this episode anyway. Alright, so we had an oil node left, a normal oil node, and we had a bauxite node to deal with. I wanted to automate some aluminium stuff, not for our goal, not to go to our massive goal of 100 turbo motors, but just to get aluminium automated for us. We've also automated packaged fuel for our jetpacks, again, because we only had that temporarily again. So, and we've automated batteries as well. So now we can start playing with drones. Right, just a quick one. I was going to keep this a secret, but I'll just explain it really quickly. So basically, we had this running at 72,000 megawatts for hours, probably 2 to 3 hours. And then eventually, because pipes are so... anyway, it started... a few of the power plants started going on and off. And my OCD couldn't deal with it. So all I did was build a tiny little factory down here and just shoved an extra like 180 turbo fuel into it. Into the bottom floor. And it's perfect now. We have 72,000 megawatts for end of days. It never drops. So some people don't mind having their power capacity fluctuate. Me personally, I can't handle it. I need to have that nice solid straight line. Alright, I will just go through what we did really quickly here. And there you go, there's our 72,000 megawatts. Alright, so Fry has gone and put a nice train station here. It's pretty cool. He just slapped it on top of some production I had going for plastic for the computer factory, and we're going to use this. We've used this to bring some sulfur in to make batteries and some aluminium, and we're using it actually to take some rubber all the way back down into the grasslands, and we have a weapons factory over here making nobelisks, and we need rubber for the rifle ammunition, but I will show that another time. So we've got a train station here now. Excellent, that's going to take computers to the base as well. Here's our single manufacturer making batteries. We'll probably go a lot harder on the batteries later, but we just need a battery supply for now. And 30 per minute is pretty good. So we're just stockpiling them in here, and when this fills up, we'll just be overflowing into the crusher. Okay, we are using the manufacturer recipe, the alternate, just because of the way I sussed out all the materials we had. Alrighty, the residual oil we're using from here, I had to bring coal and copper in for the aluminium stuff, and we're using that to make our packaged fuel. Okay, and that's just going to trickle in, fill up that container here, and when that overflows, we'll crush the excess. Alright, what else have I got to show here? Alright, this is the aluminium factory. Rightio, so we're making like roughly 750 aluminium ingots per minute. We're using the blender recipe, and this really actually this recipe, it doesn't take much water at all. You'll see that it requires 60 and it gives back 50. So I'm rerouting the water through this system. 2 of these are sharded. 2 of these have got shards in them. So we've got effectively 5 blenders here running this aluminium recipe, and for the 5 blenders I literally only need 50 water to run this system. 50 water per minute. So because of the amount of water that it recycles, it's super. I don't know if it's OP. It's like that guy there is just dialed back to 50 water per minute, and he runs that whole system. So we brought sulfur in as well, and that's just running off another water extractor. Now we're keeping it simple just because we want the aluminium that we're going to take back to the base, so we're using the pure aluminium ingot recipe in conjunction with the instant scrap recipe. sat there for a few hours trying to work out what we're going to do, and this is what I came up with. I figured this is the most simple way. Alright, I'm crushing the excess scrap so this system never backs up and shuts down. We have one manufacturer assembler making the aluminium sheets for now for the batteries, and the excess here we can chuck on a train. Alright, so I've got about 700 or so aluminium ingots to take to the base and do some stuff with, just for not the main goal, but other forms of production, if that makes sense. And now we can play with drones. We have batteries, we're going to start playing with drones. One more thing, what I'm going to do next is fix up some FPS, because I'll just do a little demonstration here. Alright, so I'll put it in photo mode. Looking around here, you can see the FPS isn't too bad. It drops a little bit at the computer factory there. The FPS isn't too bad. Okay, I'm going to turn around and look at the motor factory. Alright, oh, you'll see that the FPS really hates it. Alright, so now what I'll do is, and a lot of people probably already know this, but I was just testing it. So I'm going to put the walls in. Alright. Alright, so now if I look to the rear, it's pretty smooth. Alright. A lot of you are probably like, yeah, I already knew that, but that's fine. Alright, okay. We heard some devs say that the walls didn't change anything when you cover belts. But anyway, you see the FPS is way better. Okay, so now I'm going to delete this, and you'll see even when I go to delete it, it's actually chunky as hell right now, because it's calculating all that extra, I guess, data that it's going to see from the motor factory. It's actually, when you're deleting a panel, it's actually the worst time for FPS. So anyway, what I'm going to do is wall this guy up over here. I did like it. I did like the way it looked with all the lights and everything on the belts and all that. But what we'll try to do is wall up most of it and see if that fixes a lot of FPS issues. Other than that, I'm about to pull the trigger on a brand new computer, a bit of a beast. So it'll probably take a week or two to come in the post, but I'm pretty excited about that. I'm on an i7 with the 2080 at the moment. I'm getting an i9 with a 3080 and more RAM, all that. So yeah, the other thing that we're going to do for FPS is probably change this computer factory from glass walls to just regular walls, and start trying to keep it simple, you know. But yeah, that's it so far, and I'll leave it there for now. Alright, well, here I am down in the grasslands, and Mega Base is up there, and what I'm doing now is planning out a factory which is going to make copper ingots to bring up to the Mega Base, and we're going to mix those copper ingots with deuterium ingots, which is a factory that Fry has been working on. Let me just have a quick look here. So we're making pure, and we're going to use this recipe here. So we need 5 times as much copper as we do deuterium ingots. So what we're going to do is, I'm just planning it out now. I'm going to use these 3 normal nodes of copper and this brand new water resource over here, and we're going to do copper ingot pure recipe in the refineries. And if we use all these 3 on the pure recipe, it will take us 120 refineries, and we will get 4,500 per minute, and we're going to use 3,900 per minute, because we're currently making 780 deuterium ingots on the pure recipe. And I'll show that factory in a little bit, but we're just down here. I'm down here planning this out. I don't exactly know what's going to happen, but I'm going to turn these into nice and neat bus lines. But it's a shell of a bus line at the moment, just to get power down here. And yeah, we'll see how it turns out in a little bit. Alright, I've started planning it out. I'm up here on the half-finished bus line. Like I just said, I've brought power down here because it helps me use the hover pack to set things up. So what I've done so far is laid out 20 refineries in 2 rows of 10 just here. Each node, using the pure recipe and refineries, will take 40 refineries, so 2 rows of 20. And I've just laid out enough for 1 node so far because I'm still in the planning phase. So basically each row of 20 will do 750. So there's going to be 6. Right, so 37.5 times 20 equals 750. So this represents one normal node of copper, two 750 lines. I need to times this factory by 3, and we're just trying to keep it simple. We're not trying to go too fancy, and it depends on the frame rate as to how open I can leave this factory. But basically, we're just going to slap another 2 levels on top. All right, so not too fancy, but nice, neat, clean factories here, and nice, neat, clean bus lines. What I'm going to do next is play around with this water, because it'll be the first time I've used pressurizers on the actual water. We did it with nitrogen, but as long as I can get 1200 water, because each one of these sets of 40 will take 400 water each, so as long as I can get 1200 water out of this resource node, which I almost certainly will be able to, will be pretty good. And come back in just a second when I've done a bit more work. Alright, so here I am up in the mega base area. Done a little bit more work down there on the pure copper factory, and as you can see, I've done a bit of work on the belt bus here, and the power obviously comes down this belt bus. I like putting a lot of care into the bus. It just makes everything look so clean and neat, nice to look at, even though our factories are going to be a lot more simple now to save FPS. Just a quick one over there, we've got a weapons factory, which I'll do a tour of some other time, and a little basic factory there, which we will put a roof on. But that basically tops up our automatic sorting system, which also I will do a little video on later. That's going to be expanded too. So I'll just fly down here, have a quick look at what I've done so far. So these 6 belts of 750 copper ingots are going to come up this pylon here on the eastern pylon, and most of these copper ingots are going to be used to make that quick wire, which is going towards our final project of the 100 turbo motors per minute. So just have a look at these buses. Nice, neat, clean buses. Just the way I like it. So with it, when I set up belt buses like this, I said before in a previous video, I'm limited by the distance of the power cable. So I drag out a power cable, connect, build, and then the belts themselves are halfway between. Alright, so I have sorted out the water resource node. There's 5 pure nodes here, which do 300 each, and 2 impure. I haven't actually plugged the impure in, but they do 150 each. This thing is sharded to the max at the moment. There's more than enough water. I only need 1200 water. We'll just have a look at how much power this bad boy takes. Look at that. It takes 600, pretty much 650 megawatts. So it is a thirsty boy for power. But yeah, so this, try to make this one as neat as I could. The resource nodes are a bit strange to kind of put together because it's something new, not used to the way they work. But I've come up with this so far to make it look reasonably neat. Alright, so I'll do a bit more work on this factory and see how we go. Alrighty, so I've done one floor, hooked it up, and we are spitting out 750 copper ingots per line here, so 1500 copper ingots, and that's the first floor hooked up. We're looking all nice and neat here, all the buses are looking nice and neat up to the mega base, and yeah, so just one of these is running. I've laid out the next floor, and yeah, I think I'm just going to do like this. This is nice and simple. I'll leave these panels open and then see how the FPS is, and maybe plug it up if I have to, but yeah. So that's where we're at. Okay, here we are in the hub in the main base. This is our automatic storage and sorting system where we can get all the items that we need and they will self-replenish. I'm not going to go in detail right now into how all this works because it's pretty cool, and We have a dump box over there where we can dump anything and it sorts itself out as well. But I'm going to do a video independently just for this thing, which won't be part of the vanilla playthrough. So what are we doing? So many different things. This episode's going to be a little bit all over the place because we've just done so many different things at once. But let's go have a look at what's happening. Okay, so over here to the left, or to the east, I've brought up all the copper. We're about to deal with that. And over here is our main train station to our base. We've now brought up some nitrogen, we've brought the batteries in, we've brought the package fuel, and we've brought the motors in as well. And they're getting brought to our auto sorter via this Mark 1 belt. And over to the west, Fry has been working on a Caterium factory. And we'll just go quickly have a look at all three of these things and have a look at what's going on. Alright, so don't worry too much about this stuff here. This is just some temporary quick wire that Fry did because he said, hey, we got ingots up here while we're messing around. Let's make some quick wire, exactly 780 quick wire, and just send it to the machine. Because we got the ingots, let's do it. So this is all temporary. We're actually going to go quite crazy with the amount of quick wire we're going to make, and I'll just go through that in a sec. Just have a look over here at what Fry's done. He's used, I'll go over this in a bit more detail once we've polished up the factory a bit, but basically over here we're using 2 pure nodes of Caterium on the pure recipe in, I'm actually not sure how many refineries that is, about 60 or something. So we're using that node all the way over there, and there's a node right there. Alright, so that's a factory that Fry's done, and we're bringing up exactly 780 Caterium ingots per minute, which for Caterium is actually quite a lot. Alright, so we'll head over to the train station side of things. Alrighty, so here I am looking over the south side of the base, and what we've done is we've actually converted this top train station into a fluids train station, and it's actually 6 stations of nitrogen. In a previous video I actually showed the station that grabs the nitrogen from way up in the north of the map. We're pulling in 1950 nitrogen per minute, and because it's nitrogen we don't need any pumps to come up this bus here. So all we did was convert a bus line of conveyor belts into the pipes. It was quite simple, and I changed the train stations over. This train station here, this group of train stations, is actually going to it's going to get another 2 floors on it. So what you see here times 2 effectively, because these here is another 2 train stations worth. Yeah, we've got a lot of trains going around. The other thing is I definitely want to paint these pipes. They're going to be white, just like you see in here. These ones are white. Alrighty, so here we are at the, I guess, logistics hub of the south side, which is the train station side. And as you can see, we've got 6 lines of nitrogen up here. These are ready to rock and roll. We have 350 per line here. That's just the way we worked it out from the station. We have 2 lines of ingots here, aluminium ingots, and they are a total, it's giving us a total of roughly 650 ingots per minute, but it only needs to be rough for now because this is not going towards our target goal of 100 turbo motors per minute. We're just using it to make some things. Go over to the copper in a second. Our motors are up here, 305 motors per minute, and what I'm doing here, also the package fuel and the batteries, and these are all just to top up that automatic storage and sorting system which is over there. So I've put this on a Mark 1 belt on purpose, these 3 items, merged it together, and with the remaining motors that we're pulling in here, so we're getting 305 per minute from the motor factory. I've got a 270 belt there, so this is accepting about what, 30 per minute or something. Anyway, so we are crashing the motors and getting tickets, and look at that, we're at 184 tickets, just cruising. So we're going to make some, what are we doing here? Ouch. We are going to make some cooling units using this recipe here, motors and the nitrogen, which is up here already, and we have the aluminium ingots. Well, we have the aluminium up here and the copper to make these heat sinks, and that's going to happen over here. Alright, so there's the pure copper factory down there, making 4,500 copper per minute, which I briefly showed earlier. Nice simple factory using the water resource node. I've belted it all up on a nice neat belt bus coming up this eastern pylon. Alright, so we're just going to belt these up as we need to. What we have here is 750 per line and 6 lines. 6 lines of 750. We need 3,900 for the quick wire. We're going to bring that Caterium over to here, and these are prepped to go. We're going to build a factory making a hell of a lot of quick wire, 9,360 actually. So let's just quickly have a look. Pardon the pun. This is what we're using. So it needs 5 times as much copper as it does quick wire. Rightio. So that's going to leave us with, when we take 3,900, we're going to be left with 600 per minute to play with. That's this line. It's going to be a 600 line. And that's what we're going to play with the nitrogen and aluminium over there with, to build some stuff. Alright, now, I did a little thing which I thought was pretty good. How do I get a 600 line out of this 750 line? Well, what I did was, first thing I did was get a smart splitter and smacked it down. Alright, I put the center to overflow and the right and left to copper. I then put a merger here. Rightio, so then I have a Mark IV belt here, which is 480 per minute, and I have a Mark II belt here, which is 120. So together, that makes 600 exactly. So this line will be a 600 line. This will take 600, or max of 600. That's what I'm going for here, is a max of 600. Can't take any more than 600 out of this line because I'm limited by 120 and 480, which is 600. Then any overflow will come down here, and that's 150 if I'm running this at max. And that's 150, and that then goes with these 5 750 lines, and then we have our 3,900 copper per minute to mix with the Caterium to make the cookware factory. Cool, and the last thing I'll show when I'm up here, if I haven't showed this already, you'll notice this line with a whole bunch of different items coming along here. All the basics. This is all the basics constantly getting made and overflowing and getting crushed once we've topped up our supplies here. Coming down this one common line and getting split up by smart splitters. The other thing we have on here, which are hard to see when they're traveling, there goes a Nobilisks there. Nobilisks and ammo. They're actually really small on the belt. So let's just see one sec. There goes the ammo. If I just go like this, flip, make that a Mark I belt. Just for, it doesn't really matter. There's, you can actually see, there's a Nobilisk. It's nice and small. All right. We also have ammo coming up here. There's another Nobilisk beacon. But yeah, trust me, we have ammo. Alright, here's our basic factory. We still haven't put a roof on it yet, but it all comes down this line here. And that's our weapons factory. I will show these in detail later, I keep mentioning that. But that's what this line is. And it's pretty damn cool, to be honest. Okay, so I've used some of the copper, nowhere near 600, and we've started making some aluminium products. So you can actually see a few going across there. We've now got, losing frames, look at that. We've now got casings, alclad sheets, cooling systems, fused modular frames, very slowly that is, and heat sinks. So over here, basically we have the aluminium stuff that we've made, which is not for production, down in our oil city. It's coming up here. We've got at least 600, between 600 and 650 per minute. aluminium ingots just coming up to the base to play with. We have heaps of nitrogen here, and we're only using just one pipe, just to get some stuff trickling into our auto sorter, which is over there. It'll be interesting. I actually have a new computer ordered, and it should be here next week. So hopefully, and then I'll do some research on how to get the best frames out of the game. But right now I'm starting to lose a bit. But anyway, here we have some constructors making some aluminium casings straight out of the this is a alternate recipe. Actually, no, it's not. Anyway, it's the most simple one. So we've got the casings. The casings go into this blender here, and they make the fused modular flames, and the limiting factor here is the heavy modular frames, which we're just trickling in at the moment from down in that factory down there. But that doesn't really matter that it's trickling in, because all we're doing is topping up our automatic sorter over there. I've got two blenders making cooling systems, and these will be running at 100% efficiency, because the overflow from these is going into the crushing machine. So we've got cooling systems, we've got heat sinks backing up the overflows going to the crusher, to our sorting system and the crusher, and we've got our clad sheets. So we stockpiled a lot of aluminium sheets before update 4 dropped from update 3, and we've still got so many left. But now that we're automating these, we may even just, because there's a big stockpile at the motor factory still, we may even just go send them to the crusher, because now we've got four assemblers making aluminium sheets. But this is our little setup here in our main base. We're starting to use the main base now. Not exactly sure how we're going to design it. Like I said before, this is an evolving design. Whether we're going to close in the walls a bit, keep the corners open, not sure exactly what we're going to do up here. But we're definitely going to keep the hole in the middle, whether we make it bigger or not, or we might actually make the hole in the middle bigger each level, so it kind of like an upside down pyramid-y thingy. I'm not sure. Yeah, what else did we do? We painted these pipes, so they actually look quite nice now. Coming up this bus line here. There comes a train. That train down there actually brings the first 2 carriages are aluminium, and then the last 2 carriages are batteries and packaged fuel. So yeah, and this train station is going to be one of the very next things I do is put another 2 levels on this train station. I'm going to utilize these 12 lines here, because the bottom train station has 6 lines, these 6 lines here. The next train station up is completely nitrogen, as you can see, and then the next 2 up are just, well, we haven't decided what they're for yet, but this train station's modular, and we're just going to chuck another few levels on here and make the spirals a bit taller. Alright, it's coming into nighttime, so let's go have a look at the little lighting setup that we have set up. Alright, this is the auto sorter. We've decorated it a bit, made it kind of evil with the red lights, but we can easily change that whenever we need to. It looks pretty cool. Computer seems to be struggling this morning, but yeah, it's starting to look pretty sick. I'll go up top and have a look at what we've done up top. It's expanded it. We've nearly got every single item in the game that we need. Just trying to find a way up here. Alright, so this is the top, and I can look down from the top down into the bottom. We have a space for all the items now: supercomputers, turbo motors, heat sinks, electromagnetic control rods, radio control units, high-speed connectors. We've got so many of these now automated. They're automated at a decent rate. Okay, so what I'll do is just demonstrate the lighting. I can make it white if I want to at the click of a button. Alright, these become white, they're all linked in. I can make it red. Oh, yep. For some reason these are linked into it now. Oh, they were a different color. But anyway, this is a little design we've got going. Okay. And lights are pretty cool. We've started buying trophies because obviously our goal is to get all the trophies. Let me just make this red again. Cool. I'll make it night mode. So the lights only come on at night now. Currently we've just bought the 25 ticket one and the 50 ticket one, but we're going to get all the trophies. And Fry has placed himself there in anticipation of getting another trophy. So I think that'll do. That'll do for this episode. We've been a bit all over the place, and actually did wall up the motor factory as well, but I'll show that next time. Alright, hope you enjoyed that one, and catch you later.